So, you have a movie that you think is worth talking about.
I don't know if worth is the word that we're looking for here.
You're saying that worth is too strong a word.
Well, I don't know if it's strong enough to say that it's too strong. There's a lot of... So Batman vs. Superman is a horrible movie.
Well, I mean, we probably could have both guessed that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew it going in. We all knew it. And you haven't seen it.
No, I don't. I'm not going to see it because I don't care.
And that's a good thing, because I'm going to spoil the crap out of this movie, because it...
Spoil away, I don't care.
Okay, so the truth is I can't do that. I can't spoil the movie because it spoils itself so much better than I could ever hope to.
Well, I mean, you're using a different definition of spoiling.
Yeah, it rotted from the core.
Well, yeah, like a dead tree.
So... So you don't know. You're not a big comic guy. I'm not a big comic guy.
No, I'm not. I mean, I know who Superman is. I know who Batman is. I saw the recent Batman trilogy, which was very good.
Yeah, and I have very little to complain about those. Especially after seeing... Okay, so there's a year's worth of complaints for this movie, but I guess the best place to start is that it's not Batman versus Superman.
Well, wait, isn't that the name of the movie?
Well, the name of the movie, I guess, is Dawn of Justice, Batman vs. Superman, or maybe that's the other way around. I don't know. It was never clear. Everyone called it Batman vs. Superman.
But where does Dawn of Justice?
I think that was
is that relevant?
That was either the subtitle or the heading.
Well, no, it could be the subtitle, but is there a reason for it? It seems like a very weird subtitle.
I don't know if...
Batman and Superman... No, Batman and Superman are both very well-established characters. Calling something the Dawn of Justice means... Like, is it the name of a ship that they fight on?
If it is, it sank.
Yeah, well, clearly.
I mean, there was a movie called The Titanic, and it was... This
Spoiler alert, boat sinks.
So, gosh, I don't even know where to start. This is tricky. So, Batman versus Superman. Okay, Batman versus Superman happens in the movie, but it's like the Godzilla movie, where Godzilla was only in it for 5 minutes. Most of the movie is them talking about how Batman should fight Superman, or how he shouldn't.
Wait. Who talking about how Batman should fight Superman?
Everybody. Batman is basically, stomping around like a child saying, I gotta kill Superman, I gotta kill Superman.
Why does Batman have to kill Superman?
Well, because Superman is so powerful that he could kill everyone if he wanted to. And despite the fact that all evidence is to the contrary that he would ever do this, Batman feels the need to kill Superman, which...
But that doesn't make it... That completely goes against... what I understand of Batman's character.
Me too. Like I don't know if Batman used to kill people, but I know that at least the past 20 or so years of Batman has always been the hero that he's the dark hero, but he doesn't kill people.
Well, I mean, Batman. Well, it has nothing to do with killing people. Batman finds people and catches them red-handed. Is the point? He finds people like there's a very strong undercurrent of innocent until proven guilty in Batman, because Batman doesn't just wander around and start slugging people, claiming that they will mug someone later. He finds people that are mugging people or committing whatever crime, and he stops them during the commission, which is totally different from preemptively saying, "Oh, we need to get that Superman in case he decides to start killing everybody all of a sudden."
Well, Superman was clearly...
I mean, doing that isn't doing that going to increase or decrease Superman's faith in humanity to the point where he might do that?
Look, Superman was clearly caught red-handed, acting out vigilante justice, and that's the kind of crime that Batman exists to stop.
What? No, Batman does not exist to stop vigilante justice. Batman exists to cause vigilante justice. By definition, that's why there's a bat signal that the police can't that the police use but have to keep secret, because
Superman's guilty of the crime of being way, way too powerful for the government to be able to stop, and only the government should have that power. So Batman needs to bring
to stop
the Man
Superman.
of Steel down. Yes.
Only government should have the ability.
Only the government
Wait.
should have the ability to destroy everyone on the planet, not Superman.
But Batman's not a government agent, so how does he square that circle?
He's clearly a progressive. Clearly.
In that he didn't seem like it in The Dark Knight.
This might be a different Batman.
But it's the same character. What do you mean it's a different Batman?
I just want you to know up front that Batman ices at least 30 people in the first half of this movie. And
Wait, what?
you have no idea just how ridiculous it gets. I'm not even getting into like the major complaints that everyone else
This
has.
is like
This is the best example.
This is like Sonic the Hedgehog level of destroying a character's backstory.
The best part in the movie, from the perspective of watching a character being utterly destroyed, is when Batman shows up in the Batmobile with a Gatling gun, just opening fire on these people that are delivering kryptonite that work for Lex Luthor.
Wait, what?
At no point when this is happening...
No, but they're delivering kryptonite. Why is he stopping them? That's how you stop Superman.
Well,
is with
he's
kryptonite.
stealing this. He's trying to steal the kryptonite.
Batman's stealing
Yes,
kryptonite.
he's stealing kryptonite. But here's the thing.
The multi-billionaire
Here's
is
the
stealing
thing.
kryptonite from another multi-billionaire.
Yeah, he
You know, they could buy and sell kryptonite. It appears to not be a black market item. Because it has no effect on anyone but Superman.
Well, if Smallville taught me anything,
Wait, does
kryptonite's
Superman already
everywhere.
control the government? Did he get kryptonite outlawed? Is he lobbying it?
Well, there's a little subtle
Superman, the
factor
lobbyist.
that I don't think a lot of people really picked up on. That like I left the theater and it was all I could think about was this scene where he's stealing the kryptonite and he's just opening fire on these people and they open fire on him too. But before they do,
But who opens fire first?
Batman does, and that's the thing.
Okay.
How does he know that these are villains working for Lex Luthor? Like, I would have thought that it's like, oh, these are just delivery guys and a security detail, and he just
it's
opens
like-
fire on them and starts killing them.
So Batman basically says, Lex Luthor hired UPS and Brinks to bring him some kryptonite. They have no idea what's in the box, but I'm going to shoot them and take the box.
That's exactly what happens. It's
horrifying.
only by happenstance that
Why didn't Superman stop him?
he does, actually. He does. And it's the first time I have ever applauded Superman over Batman in my life.
Yeah, I'm not in a habit of applauding Superman. I'm not a big Superman fan.
I've never really liked him outside of... Okay, so I've always liked like the cartoons, like the really old black and white cartoon I used to watch as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it as a kid, but it still didn't. I mean, Superman is kind of the archetypal super good hero character, which, I mean, it's okay for a kids' TV show to kind of like say, oh, this is, here's a little morality play, but it's not really interesting in any literary sense.
Well, don't worry. They went out of their way to destroy Superman a little bit in this movie too.
Well, I assume so. I mean, it'd be a kind of short movie if they didn't actually somehow nerf Superman.
Well, you can always do that with Kryptonite, but that's not the point. It's not about it's not about bringing him down to anyone's level. It's about bringing him down to everyone else's moral level.
Moral level.
So
does Superman have a Gatling gun and just ice a bunch of people?
he had a more philosophical equivalent.
Wait, what is a more philosophical equivalent of a Gatling gun?
He says that he has to kill someone because someone has kidnapped his mother.
What?
Yeah, he does that. Like, that's another thing that...
But it's not... No, wait. Okay, so there's a couple of problems here. One, the solution to kidnapping is recovering a person. You don't need to kill the kidnapper. I mean...
It's not the kidnapper.
You could if you...
Lex Luthor tells him that if he doesn't kill Batman, he's going to kill his mother.
But...
That's how he gets him to fight Batman. Like Batman is...
But no, but Batman's already fair game for Superman. He just iced a bunch of people in a UPS truck.
Well, Superman probably glossed over that, like I'm going to do right now.
Wait. So now he's an idiot as well as
no, Superman's always been an idiot. Let's be fair.
Well, I don't think Superman's an idiot.
Oh,
I
you
just
don't?
think
Okay,
that...
well, I'm gonna shatter that illusion for you.
Okay.
At the end of the movie, Batman.
Oh, you mean just in this movie or in general?
In this movie, and in general,
Okay.
but slightly.
Well, I don't know about in general. I mean, there's no. I don't know much about Superman, but he seems to be of average level intelligence, where he can,
Superman can't avoid kryptonite
be a
to save his
reporter in the
life.
'60s and not be a complete piece of crap.
No. Superman is an idiot. He cannot avoid kryptonite to save his life. No matter how many
But-
times it
well, no,
causes
he
a
can in
problem
a lot-
for him, he will walk into any trap without even thinking, what if there's kryptonite here? Never thinking it. Never.
Well, that's kind of the heroic archetype, though, is moving into danger, looking danger in the face, kind of thing. That's not a sign of lack of intelligence. That's a sign of
No. The heroic archetype is you dive under the closing door to try and save one. He would.
No, not necessarily.
No. Just follow me on this. Follow me on that. Okay, so
I'll try.
there's someone on trouble on one side of the door. The door is closing, and it
Yeah.
will crush you if you get caught. You dive under it
Yeah.
to save this person. That's the
Yeah.
heroic archetype. The
No,
Superman
that-
the Superman version
well.
of that is he just walks under the door without even paying attention to the fact that it's coming down on his head, and then it comes down on his head, and he's like, oh, how did this happen? I don't know how this happened. I couldn't have seen this coming.
I don't know that that's accurate.
Well, it's the best I had on short notice.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't read the comics, and I've only seen like one or two of the movies. He doesn't seem like an idiot. He just seems like he doesn't think underhandedly, which is a form of oversight, but it's not a sign of idiocy necessarily. Like, let me put it this way: I was at work the other day, and someone was saying, "Oh, this something this and something that." I'm like, "Well, you know what you could do if you really wanted to do a good April Fool's prank? You could do this and this and this." And they just kind of stared at me, like, "How did you think of that? And why am I afraid of you now?"
Yeah, no. Superman just he walks into the situation oblivious. He knows his one weakness.
But he's mostly invincible, so that can be understood.
Well, you would think after all the experiences he had with kryptonite that he would say, okay, I'm invincible, but I do have to think once in a while. I have to run the little gray cells have to be spinning at some point.
Well,
Like, he can't learn. Maybe he can't learn.
You're saying that Superman has ADHD?
Yeah.
But only with regards to kryptonite.
Maybe it erases his short-term memory every time he's exposed to it.
Maybe
Does
it
he?
does. Well,
it gives him Superman cancer.
Well, apparently we're in some kind of alternate universe where Batman ices people in UPS trucks. So maybe Superman's never actually been attacked with kryptonite before? Like, that was... if I remember the first movie correctly, he didn't know that kryptonite existed until he was attacked with it once.
Yeah, it's
right?
always fine when he first finds out about it. But okay, so there was a show about a decade or so ago called Smallville, and it's about him growing up on the farm with his Earth parents.
Sure.
And every episode seems to find a way to incorporate kryptonite into the story.
Wait, isn't he like in fucking Kansas or Iowa or something like that? Like, where are they getting kryptonite?
Well, he came down in a meteor shower, and it all came down with him. And the stuff is everywhere in Smallville. And all I could think while I was watching the show was he has the worst
That's a horrible
adopted
game of
parents
Minesweeper.
of all time. Because at some point they should be like, wow, this kryptonite stuff is everywhere. Maybe we should, move somewhere where there's no kryptonite. Just maybe.
Well, in blue-collar America, you don't have the money to pack up and move something.
The Luthor
Federal
family
Reserve,
offers to buy his
something.
farm 5 times in the first season.
Wait, the farm that's coated in a thick dust of kryptonite.
Yeah. Well, the
So
whole city,
Luthor
the
is
whole
trying
city
to-
of Smallville.
So Luthor's doing him a favor.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just saying, Central City looks nice this time.
This is Superman's youth. So is Lex Luthor also some kind of youthful genius or something like that?
Oh, yeah, well, he's the only good character in the show.
Well, no, but I mean, Lex Luthor didn't grow up in fucking Kansas with Superman.
So they did a good job on that. Slightly, they kind of pass it off as, oh well, he's here running the Smallville section of Luthor Corp as a test from his dad. That's how they pass that off. So it's just typical because it's like a teen drama.
It's contrived, is what you're saying.
Very contrived. It's like a teen drama that has Superman slapped on it. It's
sure.
I have no idea why I like the show, but it seems to work.
Okay, fair enough.
And it does one of those things that a lot of shows at the time didn't do. Like, they would give you a superhero show, but you'd never see the superhero stuff. Well, in this show, you pretty much get to see Superman doing something Supermanish each show, even though he's not even Superman yet.
Yeah, he's just a human being with ridiculous, weird powers.
And kind of a tool.
Yeah, well, I mean, Superman has always been a tool bag.
Well, he's basically the bad guy in this show. I don't even know how anyone else couldn't see it this way. Like the entire... There's like 8 seasons. In the first 4 seasons, Lex Luthor is doing everything he can to keep their friendship.
Wait, friendship?
Yeah, they're friends. They're friends as young budding teens.
More teen drama bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's literally a teen drama show.
That's horrible.
But anyway, and you know, Clark Kent goes out of his way to find excuses to call Lex a bad guy every other episode. And every other episode, Lex Luthor is trying to find ways to keep their friendship. And then Lex eventually becomes a bad guy, and you kind of you feel for him because you're like,
yeah,
he tried.
Really
he was trying to be the good guy.
Yeah.
You all treated him like he was the worst person on the face of the planet, and now he is. What do you expect?
Is it just like an anti-corporate thing, or
kind of? It's kind of, you know. They keep saying, "Oh, the Luthor family name is, you know, it's just attached to him, and he can never get away from it." And it's kind of true.
Wait, but no, wait. But well, I mean, it is, but okay. So
his dad is a really bad guy, basically.
Oh, okay, so they established that.
Yeah.
Is that only in that show, or is that in general true?
I don't think he ever. I don't think there ever was a father anywhere else. I don't know about if there was there was a Lionel Luthor in anything else than this show. I think it was only this show.
Or anything. Yeah, okay,
but,
fine.
You know, I'm not a comic expert, so don't quote me on that.
Sure, fair enough.
But he's the only other really good character in the show. Like, everyone else is basically just
window dressing.
Yeah, it's they all have the same base motivations. It's what season?
So it's a teen drama.
Yeah, it's a teen drama. It is a teen drama,
right,
which has a cool bad guy. So, getting back to Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Batman is standing on top of a building, just blasting the bat signal out there, trying to call Superman. Superman is completely ignoring him.
Wait, who's blasting the bat signal?
Batman is standing on a building with the bat signal. He's got it. He's got it.
And he expects the bat signal to call Superman. Why?
Because the last time, actually, when he stopped him from robbing the kryptonite and killing all those innocent people, Superman told Batman not to show up the next time the bat signal is in the sky. But then Batman turns it on, and Superman just completely ignores it. It's like you just picture Batman standing there for half an hour looking at his watch, like, come on, he's got to be coming sometime.
But Batman doesn't usually control the bat signal, so isn't that the correct response for Superman? Or, I mean,
well, who's going to stop him?
Who's going to stop?
Okay, no, I see what you're saying.
I mean, the whole idea of the bat signal.
The whole idea is that Superman doesn't think it's Batman shining the signal. Is that what you're saying?
I guess. Well, like, how does the bat signal work in general? The police light the bat signal, and Batman goes to a secret rendezvous point that is predetermined with the police to find out what his mission is. Basically, is that an accurate description of the operation of the bat signal?
I guess it's close. I mean, usually they don't show you that part in the show. Usually they shine the bat
no,
signal
of course,
and he magically knows where to go. But yeah,
right. But the whole idea is that he gets the information by going to a prearranged place when the bat signal is lit, right?
Yes.
Superman doesn't know where that prearranged place is. So,
well, he's Superman.
I mean,
he could probably find it pretty quickly just to make sure Batman isn't showing up.
It depends, right? Because like they've been trying to really reduce the ridiculousness of his superpowers for the last while.
Well, they didn't in this movie. He still had the super hearing, which only worked when he felt like it. I guess he still had.
He has tinnitus.
Yes, he has tinnitus. No. There's a great scene at the end where there's all this stuff has been going on. And in the midst of all this noise, Superman hears Lois Lane banging against a rock, and it's like they're fighting Doomsday. They're fighting Doomsday, who is nuking the city, basically. And he hears this one person knocking on a piece of granite. But I'm sure he only hears it because he's got a GPS tracker on Lois Lane. That's the only thing I can figure out. It's actually a point that people brought up in the movie. Lex Luthor pushes Lois Lane off of a building to get Superman to show up. The bat signal isn't enough to do it, but pushing her off a building is enough to get Superman to show up. So he does this, but then he can't find his mother who's been kidnapped. Like, he was supposed to be on the other side of the planet when Lois got pushed off of this building. Yeah. And he's just there. But then his mother's kidnapped, and he has no idea where to find her. And this is the best part. When Batman stops fighting Superman, they come to a gentleman's agreement because both of their mothers' names were Martha.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. Batman is about to kill Superman.
That's ridiculous.
He is literally, physically, and figuratively holding a spear of kryptonite over Superman's heart. And Superman says, "Save Martha." And this just throws Batman for a loop. He doesn't know how to handle this. He's like, "Oh my God, your mother's name is the same as my name." And then it's like, "Well, my adopted mother's name is the same as your mother's name." And then he's like, "Okay, I can't kill you now."
What?
It's the Martha clause. You can't kill people that have the same name as your mother.
You can't kill people who are the child of someone who has the same name as your mother.
You can kill all the Marthas you want. You just can't kill anyone who is the son of a... So Batman decides not to kill Superman because he clearly couldn't have a mother named Martha unless he was a good person.
Wait, why does Batman want to kill? Batman wants to kill Superman for a stupid reason.
And
Superman wants to kill Batman for a nonsensical reason.
Yeah, it's a very bad reason. Superman has saved so many people with his invincibility that it's only a matter of time that he uses that invincibility to kill people, and Batman has to stop that from happening. So now he's not going to kill Superman, but then they do this. So Batman and Superman both have a problem now. There's this thing happening where Doomsday is being born under some spaceship thing, and we have to assume that that's the worst of the two things. So Superman has to go stop that. But
wait, do they have multiple villains in this movie?
Kind of. They've got Lex Luthor.
Because I don't even know who Doomsday is.
Doomsday is a character that was created was it a decade or two ago? I don't know, but he basically was the first character that showed up that overpowered everyone and killed Superman. He defeats the whole Justice League when he shows up.
All right.
And he shows up in this movie, and so now Superman has to go and find out what's going on back in Metropolis. And Batman says, "You go and take care of that. I'll go find your mother," which makes no sense at all because if Batman could figure out where Superman's mother was that quickly, then all he has to do is pass that information on to Superman, and Superman can solve that problem instantly.
Unless she's like in a cage of kryptonite or something like that.
Which is highly unlikely, but she wasn't. She was sitting in a warehouse with a bunch of people with guns that were going to shoot her in like 10 minutes, and Batman somehow found her in 10 minutes and saved her, which...
What?
If he knew where she was, then that's like 30 seconds for Superman. None of these people had weapons that would hurt Superman, and he wouldn't have had to kill any of them.
Wait, how many does Batman
Here's
kill?
the best part. He goes through the whole movie killing people. He gets to these guys that have guns trained on Martha Kent and on him, and he doesn't kill a single one of them. He instead blows up all of their guns and takes a beating and saves Martha Kent. And I don't know how he survived it, actually. It looked like he did not have the upper hand the entire time.
But did he have the high ground?
No, he came up from the bottom of the floor, actually, in an explosion. Which is what Batman does.
Yes, that's why he's a bat, because he comes up from below.
Yeah, I mean...
The cape represents the legs of a millipede, or something.
Yeah, so Lex Luthor uses the body of Zod, which this movie was actually like a sequel to
Wow, this movie sounds like a mess.
Oh, you don't even know. The whole thing is filmed like vignettes. Like it feels like you're watching
vignettes.
It feels like you're watching
for a Versus movie.
It feels like you're watching Monty Python, except it's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's not good in any way. You're just watching sketch to sketch to sketch. They put about 3 or 4 dream sequences that Batman was having in the middle of things going on. In the middle of things happening, Batman was just dreaming about things. And some of them were things that were predicting the future, which isn't a power that Batman has. Like he predicts Doomsday's face in one of the early sequences.
But
he has a dream
when
about
is
the Flash.
when is Batman sleeping that he's having these? Is he taking like afternoon naps? Like,
Oh, he was on something.
I mean-
he has a dream about the
What do
Flash
you mean on something?
showing up. He's on Batmeth.
It goes right next to the shark repellent.
Hey, don't knock that shark repellent. That's going to play a big role in one of the upcoming sequels.
Yeah.
This movie was a mess. Like, you didn't feel like you were watching one full movie. You felt like you were at an... have you ever been to, like one of them independent film shows where they run, like, 10 films
Well, I mean, I
in
haven't
the course
been
of
to
an
one, but
hour?
I know what you're talking about. Those were really short films. And
It's kind of what it felt like. Like at one point, he's in the
Weird.
future, and Superman is an iron-fisted dictator, and Batman is trying to find the last piece of kryptonite to kill him, and that's a dream sequence. And it's a really cool scene, and would have been great for its own movie, but not this movie. It didn't belong here at all.
Well, I mean, so basically what you're saying is the movie is that Batman hallucinates that Superman is going to become a bad guy.
Batman
And then decides that
hallucinates that he should be doing the things he's doing, and that leads to a lot of the problems in this movie.
So basically, we just need to keep Batman away from the hallucinogens, and everything should be fine.
Pretty much. I mean, there have been bad Batman movies, but overall there have been more good Batman movies than good Superman movies. And yet, somehow, if you create a movie that has both of them in it, Superman will drag Batman down. Not only that, but Superman will be the better character.
That's terrifying.
Now, that's as far as character goes. Actually, for all the flack that... wow, that's a prime choice of word. For all the Affleck that Ben Affleck got for being
Wait.
Batman, he did a really good job.
What? No, hold on a minute. Did you just say Ben Affleck is Batman?
He's Batman.
What?
Yeah, it was shocking to see how good of a job he did for the script he had to work with. He did a pretty good job.
I mean, I think I remember hearing about that, and I quickly pushed it out of my mind and forgot about it.
Like actually, Bruce Wayne was a better character than Batman in this movie, and watching him act as Bruce Wayne was probably some of the best stuff in the movie.
Well, Bruce Wayne is actually an interesting character.
Yeah,
Like Batman doesn't have a whole lot of character per se because he's just a persona that Bruce Wayne uses to fight crime. But they're not separate people. So, I mean.
I think what a large problem of this movie was, and I think where those dream sequences came from actually, is you probably didn't see the second Avengers movie, did you?
I have not.
Well, throughout that movie, Iron Man has a couple of flashes where he sees the future, and
yeah, but he's played by Robert Downey Jr., so he's probably on.
Yeah, almost certainly. But he.
I mean, Ben Affleck is probably on something too, but I would assume that it's kind of mellows him out, doesn't make him hallucinate the future.
Yeah, he's certainly not sharing that medicine cabinet with Robert Downey Jr.
No, different medicine cabinet.
But in the Avengers second movie, Iron Man is what's his name? Tony Stark. Tony Stark is having these visions of the future, and I think that they tried to do that with Batman here, but it didn't make sense here because there was a reason that Tony Stark was having those flashbacks. There was no reason that Batman.
What was the reason that Tony Stark was having flashbacks?
Well, they were
Flash
dealing
forwards.
with they were dealing with all these these magic cubes and things, and
okay, so there was a significant amount of fantasy.
Yeah, there was a fantasy
that
element
explained.
here. It was just Batman had a dream, and they happened to be about things that are actually things that are going to happen in the Batman and Superman universe.
Do you think it's possible that he accidentally inhaled some kryptonite or something?
He hadn't found the kryptonite by that point in the movie.
No, but it's everywhere, right?
Well, no, that was that television show. Here, there's like one rock that someone found.
There's one rock of kryptonite.
Yeah, I'm sure by the next movie people will have found a lot more.
But the comics described what kryptonite was, and it's not. I guess they threw that away too, right?
I don't know. I don't remember what the comics described it as.
The comics described it as some alloy of several. I'm sure that. They've probably retconned it a million different times, but there was a time when kryptonite had been described as a specific alloy of several different radioactive elements.
Well, I know that it retained the property of being radioactive. But like, okay, so like that Smallville show I was telling you about, I had never heard of half the kryptonite in that show, but in that show, apparently there's green kryptonite and red kryptonite.
Yeah, there's different
and
colors that
silver
do things. And, no. I mean, before there were different colors of kryptonite, there was a formula of some sort. I don't know how official it is. It's just something that I read somewhere.
Yeah, apparently the running logic now is that it came from planet Krypton and in a bunch of meteors or something. That's
Well, why? Wait, why would there? But that's not how meteors work.
I don't know.
Krypton is far away, and meteors from Krypton do not reach Earth.
We have to assume that the meteors were.
Why would Krypton be covered in a rock that kills people from Krypton?
I've been asking myself that question ever since I started watching Smallville. They actually use the line in the show that their home is their poison, which means they should have all been dead to start with.
Wait, their home is their poison?
Yeah, they're saying that to mean that the rocks that come from Krypton are the things that can kill the Kryptonians.
That is so horrible. That is just...
Well, they throw the whole Krypton thing out the window every time it doesn't suit their purposes. In Return of Superman, Superman's weakness is supposed to be kryptonite, and it plays a pivotal role in Lex Luthor's plan, which is one of the best plans I've ever seen a villain come up with. He basically creates an island that is made of kryptonite so that Superman, at best, is just a normal person there. And he's going to turn this into his own personal city. Brilliant. Somehow Superman flies this whole island up into space.
What?
There's like kryptonite growing out of the bottom of it, and he's got like this strained look on his face, like, oh, it's making me weak, but I can still lift this whole island up into space.
But I can still lift an island into space and fly.
It was probably the dumbest resolution I've ever seen come out of a Superman ever.
Did he put on rubber gloves before
No, it's
lifting
just,
it? Is
just
that what
bare
happened?
like it went from him taking a beating from Lex Luthor because he was standing on kryptonite soil to him lifting up an entire island. Now, I'm pretty sure if he could lift that island under the effects of kryptonite, that he could have taken Lex Luthor. Pretty sure.
Yes, pretty sure.
I don't know. Maybe the kryptonite is like some kind of protein shake for Lex Luthor or something.
It makes Lex Luthor stronger because...
But even that, that isn't as bad as half the stuff that happened in this movie. It's like Superman... So Batman at the beginning of the movie is basically seeing the end of the last Superman movie, Man of Steel. He's seeing Superman fighting Zod, flying through the city, destroying all these different buildings. You know, and...
Wait, so it canonically happens in the same world as other movies?
Yeah, as Man of Steel, the very last Superman movie they did.
Oh, the one... Oh, that one.
The one where
that
Superman kills
recently.
Zod, because Superman kills people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he sees him fighting Zod, and there's a couple of questions that are immediately raised. One, why doesn't he see Superman as a good thing if Superman is the only thing that can defend Earth from Zod? That the immediate reaction is, okay, yeah, all these people died because these buildings were destroyed, but in Superman's defense, Zod has the same powers he has, and he is bent on killing everyone. Superman is just bent on stopping Zod, and...
But the whole point of the Superman character is that he found ways to do things without collateral damage, or preventing collateral damage.
Has that ever been true?
Kind of. Yeah, I think so.
I don't think I've seen any Superman lately where there wasn't a ton of collateral damage.
Well, I mean collateral human damage, okay, so I remember like the old comics and the old cartoons where, a building might get knocked over, but Superman would save the people falling out of it, so to speak.
Okay,
right?
yeah, that doesn't happen in Man of Steel. There's just too much destruction everywhere for him to keep up with.
I see.
But even granting that, we're watching a movie in which Batman takes on Superman, and at one point in the movie, he has a spear over Superman's heart and can kill him. So if you're looking around at all the destruction that went on, I think it's reasonable to say that the person they should have sent after Zod was Batman, not Superman. Superman destroyed...
hold on a minute. Is Zod's mother's name also Martha?
Probably not, so I think we're good there.
Okay.
Superman and Zod destroy half of Metropolis in their fight. Batman and Superman destroy an empty church. I think Batman would have had it.
Possibly, yes.
Of course, he would have had to shoot up a bunch of security guards and delivery truck people to get the kryptonite to fight Zod with first,
But he got it to fight Superman, so
Yeah.
it's conceivably possible.
We haven't even covered like 20% of the things that were wrong with this movie.
Wait, what do you mean? Really?
Oh yeah.
So, sheesh.
There were a lot of technical problems. Almost.
Technical problems in a multi-million-dollar blockbuster Superman?
I have never seen a greater example of editing crews and cameramen that needed to be fired in my entire life. They had these drawn-out scenes where Batman would find new information on his Bat computer, and the camera would be on his face, and it would start playing this obnoxiously loud violin music, like this is some dark thing that Batman
like
just learned. And the camera's slowly zooming in on his face, and 10 seconds after the point that you're thinking, wow, they didn't time this right. They should have already stopped zooming in on his face. 10 seconds after that, they're still doing it.
Yikes.
They would just hover on people's faces. They did the same when Aquaman first shows up in the movie.
Wait, Aquaman?
I'll get to that. they show his eyes glowing green, and then they show this guy swimming out in front of this underwater camera, and it takes him forever to get into view. You're just watching this arm slowly pulling himself forward, and he finally gets out, and then he keeps swimming towards the camera looking angry, and you're like, is he going to do anything? What are we watching? And then he does this thing where he like destroys these cameras in the space of 2 seconds. So apparently he takes him 10 minutes to swim 3 feet, but then he can zip all over the place and destroy underwater robotics. It was really bad the way that they kept the camera on things for the times that they did. But fear not, yeah. Aquaman wasn't really in the movie any more than that. Aquaman and the Flash.
But wait, why is he even there in the first place?
Because they want to build up to the movies that they want to do in the future that are going to suck.
Wait. I'm confused.
All right, so what happened was this.
Why would anyone ever want to do an Aquaman movie?
I can't answer that at all. I'm just gonna ignore that question entirely. So what's happening in the movie is Wonder Woman is in the movie, and you know who Wonder Woman is pretty early in the movie. And she's trying to get these pictures of her as Wonder Woman that someone has found because she doesn't want people to know she's Wonder Woman. Well, Batman gets a hold of all these files that have these pictures on them. And it also has footage of the Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman. And he sends an email to Wonder Woman because he apparently has her alter ego's email. And he
well, they're connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah. He actually he's telling her that he knows that she's Wonder Woman. And so he's giving her the pictures that she wanted and protecting her identity. But then he's like, but who are these people? And so all that you really see of the Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg in the movie is Wonder Woman clicking on videos and watching each of their videos. Like these cameras have caught the Flash.
So it's like one of those things where they're seeding advertisements for TV shows and movies that they're trying to make.
Yeah, but it's done more poorly than I've ever seen it in just about anything.
It already sounds pretty bad.
It shouldn't be the case that you can completely cut it from the movie and it affects nothing. Like if they had just shown Wonder Woman being exposed as Wonder Woman, that would have fit in fine. They didn't need to show you the Flash and everything else, except that one of Batman's dream sequences was the Flash coming back in time to warn him that he was right about Superman, which I'm guessing isn't what he was actually warning him about, because we now know that that's not true.
It's a dream. It's not real. So the assumption is that the whole lot of them are not actually correct.
That might have actually been worse than the Aquaman one. The Flash sequence where he shows up in this portal. It's like his head is just sticking out of this portal, and he's shouting at Batman that he was right about Superman, and the camera's rotating around him, and it's like he should have just showed up for a second, told him, gave him the warning, and then disappeared. But the camera does like this full rotation, and he's still telling him, you were right, oh my god, you were right. It's like he's repeating the same thing. I don't even remember if he really was repeating the same thing, but it felt like it, because it went on for way too long.
Well, that sounds like a train wreck.
There's people that have tried to defend it, and I guess I can see on the basis of, I really like Batman and Superman, that yeah, someone would want to defend it. But apart from
So,
that,
so you're saying that the only defense of this movie is blind fanboyism?
well, no, there's one defense of the movie. Wonder Woman was a really good introduction in the movie, and when they're fighting Doomsday and she actually shows up as Wonder Woman, this is probably the best thing about the movie. The theme song, the Wonder Woman theme song, is just one of the best action songs that they could have picked for that sequence. And that's it. That's the best thing about the movie, is that one song.
Is that wait? Is there a Wonder Woman show already, or are they like making it soon?
They're making a movie. I think that's the next one they're doing is
making a
Wonder
movie.
Woman.
I see. Now, is this the same? So you said the Flash, and did you say the Arrow too, or
No, not the Arrow. The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg.
But the Flash is the TV show guy. No, or is it a different?
No,
guy?
it's a different guy. I don't know why they didn't go with the TV show guy. Maybe because it'd be too hard to film a movie and the TV show. But
I mean, they're making Flash canon, so they're making episode. Wait,
according to a couple of our friends, apparently DC wants to keep the whole Batman and Superman franchise completely separate from any of their other television shows.
No, but So what you're saying is that DC Comics is deliberately separating its own properties from themselves and creating separate alternate timelines for each of them, or something like that?
If I've learned anything from talking comics with Ramon, it's that DC hates their fans. Absolutely hates them.
Well, we all know that already.
like they go out of their way to prove that they hate their fans.
But this isn't even a hating your fans thing. This is just a.
It's part of a greater hating your fans thing. It's part of the greater.
I guess so,
hey, you like Batman? We're gonna give you a murderer.
Much confusion. Well, no, but I'm just thinking about the amount of confusion that's generated by having two separate contemporaneous Flashes. One for the movies and one for the TV show.
Well, DC Comics is pretty famous for resetting their entire universes in the middle of big story arcs. So
no, but I mean that's not the same as resetting the universe. Is not the same as having two different universes running concurrently.
Oh no, they explain that just by saying that they're different Earths or whatever.
No, I know, but you have people you just from a marketing perspective, you're missing out on the chance to connect two things and make fans of one want to see the other.
I'm not a big enough comic nerd to know how to. Maybe there's a DC from Earth 2 or something that has got the rights.
No,
to
I mean, of course, there's a million different.
No, I mean, maybe there is. There is physically a DC from another universe that would have some kind of litigation problems.
I see where you're going with this. I get it. I see.
Like they look like they're at war internally, but they're actually two separate companies. So what you're saying is that
we need to reboot the universe until we get a good DC Comics.
I don't know if God himself has that much energy.
And on the 8th day there was DC Comics, and there was nothing he could do.
It's so weird because they've always had the better characters when it came to the whole DC Marvel thing. They've always had characters that were, they're the staple characters. They're the comic characters that everyone knows. Like, not everyone knows every X-Men, and not everyone knows, everything about the Avengers. At least they didn't 10 years ago. But, everyone knew the Flash, everyone knew Batman, everyone knew Superman, everyone knew all this stuff. And
I mean, you've only named like 4 people, though. I mean, it's like everyone, if I had to go with Marvel, I'd say everyone knew Spider-Man, everyone knew the X-Men, everyone knew, well,
everyone knows the X-Men, but nobody knows the specific X-Men. Like a lot of people could name
I'm sure
specific.
Everyone knows Wolverine.
Yeah,
and everyone knows Cyclops.
Yeah, but how many more people?
And everyone knows Colossus.
How many more people could name a character from the Justice League?
And everyone knows Jean Grey, and everyone knows. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy here, but it seems like yeah, I can name a couple of DC Comics characters, but I don't know anything about them. Whereas I can name a fairly significant number of Marvel comic characters, and I can give you if I wanted to, I could give you a pretty decent idea of what their characters are.
I didn't know who Iceman was until I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, to be honest with you. So, I mean, maybe it's just a matter of exposure.
I don't know that much about Iceman, so I don't know. But yeah, we could have just had different exposures. But
From the perspective of someone who isn't in comics like you, I grew up without trying running across more DC characters than Marvel characters. I didn't even
See, I had the exact opposite experience.
It might have just been because of my taste in the characters too, because I've never liked Spider-Man, never liked Iron. I saw Iron Man comics once when I was a kid, and I was like, "That looks stupid. I don't want anything to do with that." And I've always I've always liked like cartoons and movies better than comic books. Like I like movies and cartoons and books, but somehow I just the bridging of the two just never worked for me that well.
It's not that I don't like comic books; it's that it seems like it's too expensive and irritating a hobby to maintain.
Oh, it is. I bought a Godzilla comic recently, and it was like 8 pages, and then there were 10 pages of advertisements, and there was no dialogue in it anywhere. It was
was it a free book?
No, it was.
Why was it full of advertisements?
It was $2.99, and it's the third time that in the past 20 years I've bought comics maybe 8 or 9 times, and 3 of those times half the book has been advertisements.
That's kind of.
I think
weird.
the worst one was Blade of the Immortal was a comic I bought like 15 years ago, and there were 4 pages in this comic and 20 pages of advertisements and previews for other comics.
That's really strange because I could understand that in those samples that they give you for free comic book day, right? Like having some ads in that is a good idea. That makes sense. You not only do you get a free comic book, you get exposure to other comics that maybe aren't exactly right up your alley, but there's something that the company says, oh well, if you like so and so, then you might like these guys. And it's a free comic book, so put ads in it, and you can make a little coin off of it, right? But like in a book that you purchase, having ads in that isn't like
you're paying.
I can understand a couple of cross listings, like saying, oh well, if you're reading Spider-Man, you should see what Spider-Man is doing in this other comic that is related, right? But I can't understand. It's like I buy a video game magazine. It has ads for video games in it, obviously, but I can't understand why there would be ads for things that aren't other comic books.
It doesn't help that comic books are almost half the price of a paperback novel.
Yeah, well, it's horrifying how much print has gone up in price because I think it's actually like an inverse economy of scale effect. Like printing is dying, so we have to charge more so that we can actually afford to do.
You don't have to tell me. I worked at a printing press. That place was going under faster than a metaphor that I didn't have time to come up with.
Right. No, there's always a copy of the New Yorker sitting on a random table in the break room at my workplace, and I looked at it the other day and I realized that on the cover it said it was $7.99. I'm like, $7.99
for the New Yorker?
For the New Yorker.
That was like $2.99 the last time I saw a price on a newsstand for the New Yorker.
Yeah, it's $8. It's like, why would anyone do that to themselves?
Maybe they watched Batman vs. Superman and they just couldn't take it anymore.
I suppose.
They felt they needed to spend their money on other things, lest a second Batman vs. Superman movie comes out and they spend their money on that.
But they're gonna, aren't they?
Oh, they're gonna. Truth be told, I'm probably gonna, because I just... Part of me has to know how bad it can get.
Yeah, you see a lot of bad movies. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't even bother to see a lot of good movies or even mediocre ones. I just don't care.
Well, I want to believe that there's still hope for bad movies. I love Godzilla movies, and those are bad movies that you can love. But this was not a bad movie you could love. There was nothing to love about Batman versus Superman.
Bad is not the same as... A bad movie is not the same as one that is deliberately goofy. That doesn't make a movie bad.
What makes a movie bad is, I guess I'm going to have to say
well, there are plenty of things that make a movie bad.
An inordinately large budget for something that isn't going to work. That usually helps.
Well, Superman versus Batman could work, but it appears that they didn't hire anyone who knew how to write a script, and it appears they didn't hire anyone
they
who
probably
knew how to
hired
work a camera.
27 people that knew how to write scripts, and they all wrote their own.
No, I don't.
That may be what happened here.
No,
it's like the King of Fighters movie where it was handed off to 5 different studios.
Committee writing is proof that none of the people on the committee can write.
No. Who said anything about a committee?
You know what I mean. If there were 27 writers...
No, who said that they were in a committee?
You're making a sketch comedy joke, basically. You're saying it was sketch-like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they had a bunch of unconnected people write individual scripts for 5-minute blurbs that they sewed together into a relatively horrible movie.
People who were unconnected, disconnected, and disjointed, I'm sure.
Discombobulated.
Yeah, entirely.
Entirely. They're actually just collections of limbs laying on the floor.
Yeah, I mean...
They throw them at typewriters in hopes of making something.
If you put enough limbs on a floor in a room full of typewriters...
It'll smell really bad. Eventually.
Well, I mean, there's about 7 or 8 hours worth of material that we could still go into, but I'm feeling the pain. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean,
we barely touched any of the stuff that there is to complain about in the movie, too. That's the best
horrifying. Part. But like you said, oh, this is the best part of the movie. I'm like, oh, are they connecting the TV series from the movies? Because that'd be a really smart thing. You're like, no, not at all. They're keeping them deliberately separate. I'm like, what?
I didn't even tell you about Batman flying.
What?
Well,
now you have to.
Oh, okay, we'll end on this note. So at the beginning of the movie, they show you Batman's origin story, which everybody knows and we've all seen 1,000 times. But it's not really it's not really them showing it as a flashback or anything. It is a dream that Batman's having. And at one point, he's in the cave that he's fallen down into this cave, and all these bats are flying past him. And then they start flying around him, and he holds his arms out, and he starts hovering up in the air into the sky, back through the hole that he fell out of.
Well, that's because it's a dream.
Yes, it's a dream,
right?
And so he's not really flying, but he's in the dream. He's flying, and we don't know why. Like, what was that What was that signifying? What was the symbology?
It symbolizes the idea that the bat saves him from his follies. Yeah. I'm grasping.
It signifies that he is a mortal man who does not have superpowers and cannot fly like Superman. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, the bats are lifting him, so becoming Batman lifts him up is what I think they may have been going. I mean, it's probably too stupid for me to do an actual literary analysis on it. I could come up with a lot of really ridiculous stuff if I wanted to.
Well, they sure did.
Well, yes.
Anyway, I think that
when you have a movie whose title wait, so did Dawn of Justice show up anywhere at any point for anything?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I guess we're supposed to assume that Superman dies at the end, so we're supposed to assume that the Justice League gets together after that, and that's the dawn of the Justice League. Maybe that's what they mean.
What? But I thought Superman was part of the Justice League.
He is. He doesn't actually die at the end, because he dies at the end, and then they bury him, but then they show, like, some magic thing at the end where the dirt is lifting off of his coffin, which I don't know. I don't know anything about the death and resurrection of Superman other than Doomsday killed him at one point.
I don't know. All I know is that I heard those comics were really, really bad.
Yeah,
when they came out.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very long before Superman was alive again. So it's like what?
I think it was like the next issue.
I don't know.
Or they brought like a bunch of like faux Supermans back.
No, they did that for a while, and then like I don't know what happened. I just remember reading a few angry like discussions on it here and there. Nothing really substantial. I don't know enough about it to say anything about it really.
Well, that's Batman versus Superman, I guess.
That's 20% of Batman versus Superman.
Roughly.
So are we going to return for another episode of Batman versus Superman bashing?
I doubt it. Part of me feels like we could give this recording to the people that greenlit this movie, and they would think that we were advertising it in a good light and would give us money.
I like money.
I do. I mean that's how bad this movie was. That they might hear this and think, "Wow, it's a pretty good review." We could really sell some DVDs with it. Do they do DVDs anymore? They still do DVDs, right?
They might. I don't know. They probably do. Someone has a DVD player somewhere.
BD is so much harder to say. It either sounds like you're talking about your rich uncle or your underwear.
I usually just say Blu-ray.
Yeah,
because it's the same number of syllables.
Blu-ray,
and
BD,
it has more vowels, which makes it easier to say.
Makes you sound less drunk.
Blu-ray. Unless you do it like that.